Do you know what? I really think I should download a soundtrack for my phone. Like, you know how like like in a sitcom, like a character comes in the room and like there's
Yeah.
like some noise that's
You want
usually
like a
associated with them.
you want like a soundboard then.
Yeah, well, like something where I could just like walk into the room and go like, and it plays. Yeah, or I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe some ancient lamentation music. What a
That's funny.
yeah.
It's a funny joke because it's the Snyder Cut of Justice League, and guess what? We somehow both managed to watch it this week. And I would like to illustrate this as to why we need a system where like votes matter and decisions are made by the people. Because last week I asked the audience to tweet me whether or not I should or shouldn't watch the Snyder Cut to talk about it this week, and I got one tweet from Stevie saying don't watch it. And then I watched it because this is a fucking dictatorship and I make the rules. And I'm telling you, this is an illustration of why that's bad.
Yeah, sure. I got another thing actually.
Yeah.
I found this guy on Twitter who
Okay.
he made this like whole like post for how Japanese artists should approach Western fans, and he because you know Japanese artists they don't have the same social acknowledgement of other races that we do, so they'll like take like a character who is quite obviously black or just a more natural tan and whiten them up.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's them just being like, oh, what's the problem? I just drew them how I with this lighting, whatever. Who cares? So this guy made this whole thing about what do you do if you're approached negatively about your work, and it's well, the first thing he says is please check the account information about the user who is disparaging or demanding you change or remove your artwork. And he says if the biography or header image contains any of the following: age information, usually represented by a number below 18. The following acronyms. No, this is the one where everyone was like, are you sure you're not just a white dude from the Midwest who knows Japanese? Because he said the following acronyms: BLM, ACAB,
Oh.
gender pronouns, he, him, she, her, they, them. The following emoji, and it's the trans pride flag: a heart, a rose, two hearts. I don't know what those three in the middle are, but then the hammer and sickle. Alternative lifestyle choices. Poly, pan, demi. And this is what I was like, oh, this feels like a meme. Imaginary gender identification. E.g.
I don't think this is a meme. I think this is just a bigot.
gender queer. No, this is when I thought it was a meme, and then it was like imaginary gender identification. Any form of the word feminist.
Ugh.
Then this one I do agree with. Any reference to a K-pop group.
I mean, K-pop people are entitled to things. I'm okay with
But they
K-pop
are-
people because K-pop people, every time there's some weird homophobic or like racist thing on trending on Twitter, K-pop people flood that hashtag with K-pop shit.
But
And
they
you know
also
what?
but they also fetishize the shit out of gay people and are kind of racist.
That's true, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say
I don't like K-pop people. I enjoy how they meme up like Trump hashtags and stuff, but
that what I'm saying
sometimes
is
I
they
want to
get
go to the hashtag and know what's going on. I don't want to fucking see a bunch of pictures of Jungkook going like, "Hey, I'm a hot boy. Me and these guys look all the same." That is not a thing about Asian people looking the same. It is about how Korea has a very crazy plastic surgery phenomenon.
yeah.
Most Korean women in Korea look the same because they got plastic surgery to
Or at
look
least
the
the
same.
ones in K-pop groups.
Yeah, that too. Well, it's also like in K-pop groups, it's like a lot. In like lower class people, it's like, oh no, it's like not stigmatized to get plastic surgery here.
Right, but like that doesn't. Never mind.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
It's-
this guy's a dipshit, and he's wrong.
well, he's right about one other thing.
What?
An avatar or header with characters from Pokemon, Super Smash Bros., Animal Crossing, or My Hero Academia.
Oh, I would just say a header with any anime in it. But
Yeah.
that's the problem, is that he is talking about anime to anime people. So he instead makes it specifically shows he doesn't like, because the ones I do like, people with that header are fine.
I like My Hero Academia, and I actually like all of those things. The problem is the people who like those things enough to put like in their bio and their like header on Twitter are annoying, and they're constantly talking about how like, oh, these are my sweet little precious baby boys. They shouldn't be in this like criminal society beating people up. They should be like nice and kissing each other because they're hot boys, but they're also 16, and I'm not going to really think about the pedophilic stuff about this. I don't.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's a whole thing with all anime people.
Yeah. Putting pronouns in your bio is not. There's nothing wrong with that. The BLM and ACAB, nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Someone being below the age of 18, depending on what artwork you are doing, you should definitely block them, because if you're fucking making like lewd stuff,
Yep.
you can't give porn to a minor.
Also, yeah, I wouldn't respect the opinions of a minor.
Yeah.
In a lot of situations.
It's just that sometimes
they just
minors
don't have world experience.
Like, kids will see it like, it's like Tumblr, Twitter has truly, unlike fandom sides of stuff, Twitter has truly become like old Tumblr, where like people are sending each other DMs and shit, going like, hey, I saw that you self-ship that character, and that makes me really uncomfortable because I self-ship them with myself, and like, I don't want to think that they're cheating on me or anything, so can you go ship them with someone else? That was all over Tumblr back in the day. Like when I was using like when I first started using Tumblr, and I was always like turning to Emma and going like, "Do you seriously use this shit all the time?"
That's some weird sociopath shit.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I know that's some weird teenagers not being emotionally stable shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That sucks. I don't like fandom. Period.
They are in a fantasy world. They do not exist. If they do something that doesn't make sense in the modern world, guess what? It made sense in their world.
Yeah, I just don't like fandom stuff because it's all about like worshiping elements of a thing, and I'm like,
and ignoring the bad elements.
Right, or like it engages with. I think a big problem with fandom, and in terms of like media criticism, is like fandom uses in-universe arguments to dispel outside universe arguments. Like,
yeah,
and that's not good, because like you do realize like a human person made it. Like My Hero Academia doesn't exist. A guy wrote it, and it's
if there is a piece of shit character in a media, you can't just ignore that character, because that character does exist.
Yeah,
you can go and like write your fan fiction about them dying or them getting their comeuppance, but that's just bad. Just
the pervert character in
ignore it.
Most anime has nothing to do with the plot, and usually is actively fucking gross and annoying.
Yeah, but, well, other than Dragon Ball, but like Mineta has done one thing, and he hasn't done anything since.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's about it. Like he does that one thing in like episode
and
like
it's
10.
Not like he learns his lesson.
Balls.
It's not like he's like getting any character development. He doesn't matter.
Well, now that the world of My Hero Academia is all super fucked up, I hope they do like a time skip thing. And
I love a good time skip.
Like they show him back, they bring him back as like a serious character that respects women, because that's the ultimate glow up, is the character who was a piece of shit, and then he comes back and he's like, hey, I'm really sorry about all of that.
Yeah,
that was fucked up of me.
Yeah, that'd be better.
I just didn't know the touch of a woman, and I was on online forums that made me feel like I deserved affection from women.
I loved 4chan, and then 4chan took me to 8chan, and 8chan took me to 12chan, baby.
Okay, that's a bit too extreme, because 12chan is like...
No, I know. I mean, 8chan
is like the pedophilia stuff.
8chan also.
Yeah, but 8chan will be like allusions to pedophilia, but we'll still be like, don't post it or else we're going to lose this website as well.
No, 8chan, it's totally fine. The owner says it's free speech. but it's like you'll have half of 8chan is like people posting child porn, and half of 8chan is people posting like the fucking Clintons and the Democrats are all pedophiles.
QAnon stuff.
Yeah, it's QAnon, and so it's like the Clintons and the Democrats are all pedophiles, and literal child porn is on the same website as you guys. It's like, but we're not hypocrites.
We're not the pedophiles. They are.
Yeah.
Man, I just actually got a bunch of. Yeah, welcome to the whole podcast. We're going to talk about Twitter for a minute or two.
Yeah, and also news and movies and video games and comics and stuff. And internet.
So you know how it's a horrible thing happened to an Asian community this week.
Oh yes. Please, if you can, donate to Stop AAPI. That's Asian American and Pacific Islander hate, or any other, GoFundMe's and things like that. If you can. This was a real rough hate crime that happened this week. I know you guys don't need to be informed of it.
What are you talking about, Nathan? It wasn't a hate crime.
Yeah,
it's because he's a sex addict, and he automatically assumed that all Asian women in massage parlors are sex workers. So therefore, that's what justifies it, not his racism.
Yeah,
he was not a racist.
And even if they were sex workers, he thinks they deserve deaths, and that's like not cool because they don't. But y'all don't need to know about that. You already know. I'm not the first person telling you this, but donate if you can, or at least if not donate, try to do some learning, try to do some fucking eye-opening research, readings, etc. We've been through this. But yeah.
So I saw this guy on Twitter though.
Okay.
Who, someone posted this article that was like it was about how the model minority myth about how people pit Asians against black people. It's like they both came over, and historically they both came over here in like dire straits, like not in a good way.
Yep.
But then like whenever you see Asians in media, they're always portrayed as like, wow, I'm doing so good, I might as well be white. Like shit like that.
Yeah.
But there's actually like tons of Asian people in poverty. Like, look at China. Have you ever been to a fucking Chinatown? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, because they're a minority, they are like technically, I think, on average, slightly more fiscally successful than white people. But in the last year, there's also been a massive rise in Asian American hate crimes. So.
Yeah, I wonder why. Kung Flu. So this guy responds to that and says, his name is like Liberty Matters. You can just tell that this dude.
Oh, that's a bad.
Yeah, so he says, I'm good. Is there anything in the history of America that wasn't a tool of white supremacy? Anything at all? Person says no. He says, what about super soakers? And someone comes back with something I didn't know.
What?
Lonnie Johnson, the African-American NASA engineer who invented super soakers and Nerf guns, discovered that Hasbro cheated him out of millions in royalty payments by producing toys that were basically identical, but claimed they were unlike Johnson's invention. So no. And then the guy replies, well, butter my biscuits. Look at that. That's a fun way of being proven wrong.
That's great. You know what? Good for him. That man.
Yeah.
Liberty Matters. Say what you will about him. He does not have the toxically masculine trait of not being able to admit when he's wrong.
Yeah. He was
and
just like, oh, shit.
That's something truly we all can learn from.
Yeah. I can't. I'm never wrong.
Fuck. But yeah, man.
What?
The world sucks.
Sucks in Utah right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
What's in Utah?
Let's get into the news. You fucking posted this.
Oh shit. See? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's why the world sucks.
In Utah, lawmakers have voted that they were going to require that every cell phone and tablet sold in the state automatically blocks pornography. The proposal is the conservative state's most recent move targeting online porn. Governor Spencer Cox has not said if he'll sign the bill, but, who knows?
He probably will, because it's Utah. Anyways, what is the reason for doing this?
It's because porn's bad.
Religion.
Yep.
Other than religion.
It's Mormon country out there.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing about America.
It's bad.
There's supposed to be a separation of church
and state, except in Utah.
I would love I would love to be like, just teleport me into the mind of a fucking American politician so I can just sit there and be like, hey, what's your reasoning for this? And if they bring up God, it's like, no, not allowed.
Yeah.
That's not a thing we do here.
Separation of church and state, though, yeah, it's true. The thing is, you can't ban people who have a religion from being in government.
But if if your sole reason for wanting something to be changed in government is religion, then it's wrong.
Yep.
Because religion is not supposed to have a place in government because we're not a theocracy.
You're right. Except Utah.
Also, they aren't a theocracy.
No, Utah, it's such a high percentage Mormon that, like, if you can't throw a rock without hitting one. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna throw a bunch of rocks.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, it's such a high percent there, and so many of them are extremely devout to their church, even though their church is fucked up. That, like, you kind of can't run a society without having a Mormon in government, which is bad.
Over half of the state is Mormon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love the cults that are big enough that they don't get challenged. Am I right, folks?
That's where the villains are from, and for Fallout New Vegas.
Utah.
Until
I recently met people from Ohio. Utah and Ohio, I got mixed up all the time.
They're not, like, on complete opposite ends of the country.
Oh, like, I'm supposed to know where every fucking state is, dude. There's 52 of them. And, I dare any American to name and point out where every fucking province is, I swear to God. And there's only 13.
No, sorry, there's 10.
There's 10 provinces,
3 territories. Yeah, but in Fallout New Vegas, the villains are... Well, I would say the villains are the Legion, and they are from Utah. And, they're a bunch of, like, oh, you know what? We're just going to enslave women.
From Utah?
Yeah, it's because the game takes place in Nevada around Las Vegas. So the NCR came from California to take the Vegas Strip, and the Legion came from Utah to try and destroy the NCR by getting a foothold on the Hoover Dam and also taking control of the Vegas Strip. But
they're themed after Caesar. You'd think they'd come from somewhere with a higher Italian population.
Well, the thing is that they're based off of Roman stuff, but they read everything wrong. So it's literally like one guy got a copy of an old book and was like, "This is pretty cool." And they're just all villains because they're they're like, oh, we should enslave women because they're lesser than us and also minorities.
Damn. In other news, the Oscar noms came out, baby. And all in all, they're actually pretty good this year. The only major snubs are for Da 5 Bloods, which had no nominations for bless you, Best Picture, Director or Actor for Delroy Lindo, which is a shame because that movie's quite good. But other than that, most overall pretty good. The big three that I see going neck and neck for Best Pick are Nomadland,
Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece.
Nomadland, Minari, and Judas and the Black Messiah, which I think Nomadland's probably going to win, just in my book, because, it's directed by an Asian woman, but it's starring a white woman, so I think they might get it. No, honestly, this one is quite diverse this year. That's not as big a problem as it was previous years. Chadwick Boseman is almost certainly going to win Best Actor posthumously, just because it's the right thing to do, because apparently he did deliver 2 performances. He was in Da 5 Bloods, he was in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and so he was in 2 things, and he died this year. Pretty much a shoe-in for him, which isn't a bad thing. And then Ian wrote here, there's no Marvel movies, so it's actually all false, which I pointed out. No Marvel movies came out in 2020, Ian.
Yeah, so we should have canceled the Oscars this year.
But honestly, it is a crime Birds of Prey didn't get any costume or makeup nominations.
Yeah.
Because the movie's got good costumes and makeup. Say what you want about it. Say what you want about it. It's got good costumes and makeup.
It's feminist propaganda.
Yeah, dude.
That's what it is. This gay is a fucking bullshit.
Yeah, well, don't worry, dude. That's
I
feminist
can't believe
propaganda.
a woman beats up a man. Physically, a man would be stronger.
But Ian, it's okay.
So these women cannot beat them up. What?
Ian, it's okay that movie's feminist propaganda, because this week a great piece of military propaganda came out. And we'll talk about that later in the episode.
I guess Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it is military propaganda.
Yeah,
It's extremely.
Yeah.
And remember, Ian, soldier good, government bad.
Well, speaking of Marvel.
Speaking of Marvel, Square Enix had their own
Squenix.
Nintendo Direct. Squeenix.
They had their own Nintendo Direct that showed off nothing I cared about.
If you want to see my full reaction, it's at youtube.com/N8SComedy. I got the whole VOD up there. But highlights from it include a Black Panther DLC from Marvel's Avengers, Life is Strange True Colors, which is the new Life is Strange. It's got an open world. It's got a new character.
It's got that Bon Iver song.
Isn't it Bon Iver?
I don't care. Also, I don't think it's Bon Iver, or whatever. It's just that every single time I hear a song sound like that, I think of Place Beyond the Pines, which that entire movie is just fucking like a Bon Iver album.
There's I know there's music from Phoebe Bridgers and stuff in this game, and Alt J.
I don't like her.
Why not?
She broke a guitar on stage.
Ian, wait, this might interest you. Project Athia.
That game, I looked up
It was a very short piece, but they announced that it's got an actual name now called Forspoken.
It was just the trailer they actually showed was just a woman sitting there, and that's it. And she talked about that she's in the new Forspoken game, and she is
and then they showed
woman,
some cool action stuff.
Did they? Because I did not see that at all in the
there
trailer.
Was some really short
what I
clips.
saw was a GIF on Twitter.
Yeah, that was in the trailer, but that was in the second half or whatever. Sometimes they split them up into it was a very short piece for sure. I was like, damn, I wish we got a bit more of it.
Yeah, it just shows that this is it's at the very end of the trailer. And I stopped watching after the title drop at the end because I thought this is just going to be nothing. It's going to be one of those things where it says coming to these consoles. Yeah, there it is.
Game looks cool. I'm still hyped for it.
Yeah, it does look cool. No gameplay though.
There was gameplay.
That's fake. That's not real.
I don't know. We saw other. I would
no
say
gameplay. If there's gameplay and there's no HUD, I don't think it's real.
But Ian, I don't know if you know this. If you play a game and you hit the start button, you can turn the HUD off. Does that make the game no longer real?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. I'm specifically talking about in trailers.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
I hope
but
it
a lot of
does run
trailers
this fluidly. I think the character design is kind of bland, but
it's an isekai.
That's fine, but even isekai somehow sometimes have banger designs. But
yeah,
this I wish there was a little more color. But she's just wearing a gray tunic and gray leggings, and then a fucking flappy coat that's purely there to be look, our physics of when she's running. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe hopefully there's other outfits, or they tweak it a bit, make it a little more interesting.
But Ian. They have air.
It looks like a cool power
so it's
game.
A guaranteed sale.
It has freeform run. It looked how fucking the best power in
Infamous Second Son. I know exactly what you're saying.
It's the neon one where you just kind of flow over things. The only problem is that it just makes you into a neon light beam and not be this is the character flipping around stuff. Yeah, that's the only problem with it.
I'm glad Luminous, even though this only happened, or the reason this is as far along as it is because they canceled that cool stuff for FF15. But I am glad to see Luminous working on something and using that engine and throwing something together that's actually great, because Final Fantasy 15 for what they had to go through for having to scrap the entire game and do it again in 16 months. That game's way better than it has any right to be. And now these really talented people can flex their muscles with decent budgeting and time.
There's like some problems with Final Fantasy 15, specifically with like the pacing and like the gameplay, but the story's good.
Yeah,
The story missions are good. The rest of the game is not.
I mean, in general, though, like we both played a good chunk of that game and liked it. Like,
oh, I finished it.
Yeah, well, I did too. But what I mean is, like, I did side stuff. I did like running around, and like it's an enjoyable game. Like the Monster Hunter sections are cool. You know, like it's for how little time they had to get that game into a fucking finished state. It's way better than it has any right to be. It's not fucking Duke Nukem Forever, you know?
Yeah. Bad game.
What? Which one?
Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, so that's all the news because Nathan cut a bunch, and I actually didn't see it because I didn't look at the fucking Google Docs
it was just,
for like the whole week.
I can just... There was 2 lines. Among Us, the new map comes out March 31st. That's cool.
Cool. Too big.
And we haven't played it yet, and you can't really decide.
Too big. It looks too big, is what I'm saying. The fact that it has to be like you don't all spawn together.
You can choose from 3 locations.
Yeah, at the end. Like, do you get to see where your friends are going at the end? Like, because what if, like, say me and you, one of us is the imposter.
Yeah.
And we both choose to go to, like, the upper deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I kill you there. Because I was the imposter and I just kind of like followed you around until my time was up. Would people know that we were up at this, like that we both went to the north upper deck part?
I don't think so. But it depends, right? Like on what you say in voice chat, I guess.
Yeah. I would have to come up with a pretty convincing lie and be like, "Oh, Nathan, I went to the upper deck. Nathan didn't come there." But then they'd be like, "We found the body there." And I'm like, "Oh, so you killed him there?"
Yeah. That would be the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think this one's bigger because they're, I think, adding more players.
Great. That's great because we totally have an easy enough time filling up a 10-player lobby.
Some people want more, and some people have more friends than we do. Yeah, I don't know if you know that.
YouTubers. Oh no. Also, there's a big portion of people who like play the game online.
Yeah, with randoms as well.
Yeah.
That's true.
And, or they'll go like into a Discord and be like, "I'm looking to play," and there'd be like 10 rooms, and it's like just hop into one of these, and there's the code.
Yeah.
Which if you want to do that, but
yeah. So let's get into the weeks. Do you want to start or shall I?
You can start.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Well, first off, I guess I'll talk about Batman comics by Tom King. So I started reading the 2016 run of Batman because I'd heard good things. Actually, the thing that made me want to read it is a bunch of people online have been like, "Yo, Tom King's run on Batman is fucking incredible. It's some of the best Batman shit." And some people online are like, Tom King's run on Batman is fucking terrible." And I'm like, okay, now I have to read it. Like, especially because I like Tom King's other works. I talked about them previously. So I didn't read all of the 2016 run because it's a lot of comics, but I read the first few story arcs, which are I Am Gotham, I Am Suicide, I Am Bane, and the War of Jokes and Riddles. And I gotta say, it's a great comic, dude. I Am Gotham introduces Batman to 2 brand new heroes calling themselves Gotham and Gotham Girl in his city. And at the same time, he's got to deal with some Hugo Strange stuff, which is cool. A great storyline. Again, it's Tom King, so it's going to get dark and mental healthy, because that's what he does. In fact, you could say that about all of these.
Do Gotham and Gotham Girl have superpowers?
Yeah, they have like Superman-esque superpowers. Generic strength, flight, blah blah blah.
Oh, metahuman. I don't know which design this is from, because I googled her. That one I like. The other one would.
I don't think that's her.
Well, okay, so Gotham, Henry Clover Jr. Wait, 1 second. Prime Earth?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the picture I got when you look at Gotham's Wikipedia page.
Yeah, so Gotham Girl's on the left.
Yeah, but then it says Gotham was a metahuman crime fighter operating in Gotham City and the partner of Gotham Girl,
Yep.
Claire Clover. I click on that. That's the image I get.
Oh, okay. So then must be later on, maybe someone else's.
What? You
Oh no, yeah, I see the
2016?
G on her chest. Yeah, maybe that's just a different artist.
I don't know. I like that artist better because the skirt like crime fighter thing so dumb. It's like, yeah, while I'm flying, just look at my coos.
You do realize women wear underwear, right?
What? No, I know, but it just also feels like, dumb.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
get it that she's a metahuman and doesn't actually need like the powers. Like, give me a boob window, but cover the legs.
I'm the opposite. That's why I'm a Zatanna fan.
I'm also a Zatanna fan, but
No,
Zatanna has fishnets,
you're not
and
wrong.
that makes it different.
But yeah, so that storyline, I Am Gotham, is pretty dang good. It goes somewhere pretty fucked up. And then moving on, you've got I Am Suicide and I Am Bane, which are both about Bane. They're like kind of the same story arc, but they introduce this version of Catwoman, who Bruce will later marry in the story.
Yeah.
Really cool. Again, I Am Suicide, the title phrase is really interesting because it's where it comes from in that story arc is Batman describing, who he is. He's kind of like going back into who he is and why like him and Selina get along is like he says I am Batman, I am suicide because like Batman is effectively him trying to kill himself. Right?
Yeah.
Like when he was a kid, it's like he's like after the parents died, like he stood alone gripping a fucking razor blade and then realized like he will make his thing.
So I was just looking at like stuff about Claire Clover because I'm like, oh, let's see what's up here. And
Are you spoiling the story that I'm trying
No.
not to spoil?
no, I just looked at weaknesses and it says mental illness formerly.
Yeah,
I just think that's funny.
it's true.
Yeah. I also say the thing about her how her power works, so that might be a spoiler.
Yep, that is 100% a spoiler.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool trade-off that, of course, since it's a comic book, gets resolved.
Yep. It hasn't actually been resolved yet in the story for me personally yet.
Well, it gets resolved, Nathan.
Yeah, but in the plot of I Am Suicide, they wind up because Bane obviously classically is an addict to venom.
Damn it. I'm going to be on a list now. I googled I Am Suicide, and it fucking, of course, gave me the suicide hotline. I shouldn't even be surprised.
You should have written Batman.
I did afterwards.
Yeah, but then that storyline, they effectively Bane has given up on drugs and he's given
Nice.
up on being a big villain guy, but he's done that because he has this guy who can like fucking change people's minds, and Batman needs that to help Gotham Girl with her mental illness formerly. And so then Batman has to steal this man from Bane, which Bane is using this man as like his anti-drug, his anti-mental illness. And so obviously when he steals it, Bane is like, all right, I'm going back on drugs and I'm fucking killing Batman. And so then what I like about this storyline is pretty much every storyline features Batman getting his ass fucking handed to him.
Of
And I
course.
love that. I love a good, like, lots of people want the Batman who never can lose a fight, or the Batman who's like doesn't take hits, who's too smart. And I like the Batman who gets his fucking ass kicked, and gets back up, because that's more heroic to me. But yeah, this is that's a great storyline. And then they did the War of Jokes and Riddles, which is a flashback storyline to like, this is what Batman's year 2 was. So it's pre-Robin, where Riddler and Joker start a war with each other because they both are fighting for who gets to kill Batman first. And this run, Ian, introduces the world to the modern version of Kite Man. Harley Quinn doesn't get made without this run of comics, because it not only does it introduce Kite Man, it gives him a backstory, and it gives him his catchphrase.
Fuck, what was his catchphrase? I remember it being super dumb.
Kite Man's catchphrase?
Yeah.
Is Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Kite Man. Hell yeah. He keeps saying it. Like, Tom King introduces him as a joke character, but then in the War of Jokes and Riddles, we get like a full deep dive into Charlie Brown's life. And it's great because it's actually extremely sad. He's like pathetic. Batman is terrible to this man. It's so funny, and it's like kind of sad how fucked up it is. There's like a whole bit where it's like, Mom called you, like his son keeps saying like, Mom called you a joke, and it's like, well, are you a joke, Dad? No, or whatever. And then he tries to like come up with a reason. His son is murdered by Riddler because Batman sent him to be like a playing both sides guy.
Yeah.
And then he winds up having to actually join the Riddler and work for him. Who after Riddler killed his fucking kid because he's such like a loser coward that he can't change anything. It's so fucking bad. Like, poor Charles, dude. Man's had it real bad.
Yeah. He got left at the altar as well.
Well, that didn't happen in
I know.
the comics. In the show, he's like kind of a douchey guy who turns out to be kind of an actually decent man.
He's like a dude in like his early 30s who's just like living.
Yeah. He gets left at the altar. And that's kind of the worst thing that happened to him. Like, he's a joke, but at least he doesn't have like a wife and kid, and his kid died and his wife left him, you know?
Yeah. And then he like tries to get back out there. And then they don't.
But yeah, so if you're into grabbing onto a run of slightly recent comics, I would tell you to check this out. You know, there is some baggage from the New 52 run, but you can kind of ignore it.
Yeah. You could.
But yeah, I like comics a lot. Okay, now it's your go. What do you got?
I played like a couple of roguelikes this week. Mostly Loop Hero because that game was popping off and everyone was playing it. It's cool. It's like a kind of card like deck building game, but like you don't really control what your character does. You just control what they encounter.
Yeah.
So like a randomly occurring board comes up and it gives like a shape that your character will constantly go through a loop. And you at first you only encounter slimes, but then when you kill slimes, it drops items for you to like cards for you to put down, which is like some rocks, some mountains, or meadow. Those are all cards that increase like your health. And if you put like if you put a 3x3 square of like rocks and mountains down, they turn into like a big mountain, which then harpies will start spawning on the board, but also gives you a big boost to your health. The more meadows you have down, you get like an additional plus 2 HP back every single time like the day rolls through. But then you can get shit that you put next to the board, like a graveyard or cemetery, or on the board like a grove, and it spawns new kinds of enemies. And those new enemies will drop better loot, so you can gear your character. And the whole time you kind of just sit there and wait while your guy goes through, and you hope he doesn't die. You like equip better stuff he picks up. And then once it goes through a certain amount of time, a boss spawns, and you just have to beat the boss. And then when you beat that boss, it's like, oh, you finished chapter 1 and you unlock chapter 2. Chapter 2 is so much harder. I haven't even made it to the boss.
Yeah.
But then also, like, by doing the loops, you get like resources and shit to level up. Like, fuck off. Oh, God, I'm being burpy right now. Sorry.
It's okay.
You like when you finish the loop, there's like a hometown that you have to build up and like build new parts of, and you get like bonuses. Like when you build the blacksmith, you get gear automatically like at the start of a run, because normally you just start barehanded and beat the shit out of people until it drops a sword. But then if you beat up but then you get the blacksmith, and it's like, oh, okay, here's your sword and shield and a piece of armor you can start with every run.
So
It's
how
like the common stuff.
how roguelike is it? Like,
It's a roguelike in the sense that when you play through, when you start a run, you start at nothing, but it's you can like get things in your hometown that makes starting the run a little easier. And also putting like new things in your town unlocks more cards that you can add to your deck.
so do you have to play every run from chapter 1?
No, when you beat the first boss in chapter 1, you unlock chapter 2 and then you start in chapter 2.
Okay.
When you finish
So it
when you're
does
in
like
chapter 1.
permanently.
Yeah, when you're in chapter 1, you can once you beat the boss, you can keep going and running in circles to collect like more resources and stuff. And it'll keep getting harder and harder, and you can just kind of like let it run through. But there's no more boss and you get no more progression, you just get resources, but every single time you're at camp, you can hit retreat and you lose nothing. Normally you can retreat at any time, but you only get to keep 30% of the items you've collected.
Okay.
But if you're at your camp and you've beaten the boss, you can just retreat with everything for free.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all right. It's not very involved, and because it's like a lot of sitting there and waiting, I got really into watching the thing next on my week on like my second monitor, like literally just watching the show and then looking back and seeing like if things had happened or not. So then, I was like, all right, cool. Loop Hero kind of hit a wall. Don't really know what I'm doing. It's kind of getting to a grindy portion where I feel like I just have to, like, make my resources better. So I'm going to move on and come back later. I'm going to go try this other game, which is Skull the Hero Slayer.
Okay.
It is, like, a side-scrolling beat-em-up roguelike where you play as... the concept is you are a tiny little skeleton man. Mm-hmm. And you were... even though you were like a skeleton and you were seen as like an evil being, you were actually from a very peaceful village. And heroes, like human heroes, decided to come through and just murder your entire species. Because like you weren't like skeletons like raised dead. You were just like, oh, we're just magical fantasy creatures that just happen to be skeletons. So you go on a journey, like going through side scroll and beat 'em ups to get like more powerful stuff, and just killing like human heroes that are being cocky assholes and just overstepping their bounds. Like you're killing isekai protagonists pretty much.
Oh.
Because they just show up and they're like, I was told this is right by a church, and the church is always right. And like 80% of isekais now is like, actually the church is fucking evil.
Yeah.
Shield Hero. Like bad show, but like that's the church is the villain. Is it that time I got reincarnated as a slime? Not a great show, but I like it. But the church is like a villain, and it results in them getting all murdered. Mm-hmm. You could say the church is bad people in Konosuba because it feels like a pyramid scheme. Do you
that's so those? Funny. Yeah, the Aqua.
Yeah, where they go to like the place where like
everybody worships Aqua.
Yeah, but they're all like trying to constantly ask for money, including like the kids. They're like all grifters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So church bad. That's about what we got here.
Yeah. I was reading a thing where a guy was like sick of that trope, and I'm like, on the one hand I get it because it can be somewhat overused, like the church or God or whatever is evil.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's never not been true in the world.
Yeah, and also considering like Japan was a country who was like they were almost forced into Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
And then a weeaboo showed up and said, "Hey, yo, fuck that shit." And he became a samurai and fucked the Japanese lady. I can't remember his real name right now, but I remember laughing at someone describing him as the first weeb. But he was the reason why Catholicism didn't take off in Japan.
Isn't that the guy from Neo?
I think so.
What's that guy's name? He's a real man. He's Dutch.
William Adams, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Fuck, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't want to read this whole Wikipedia page right now, but pretty much he just showed up in Japan and was like, actually, Catholicism's a bunch of nonsense. And the emperor was like, bet. Gotcha. Yeah. So also then I played more Neon Abyss, which is a roguelike that's been out for like a year or two. And I remember I
Yeah.
got you to play one round,
We
and you were like,
we
"This
played it at
sucks."
my house. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but I
it's,
like.
yeah, that's I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't like that kind of game. But I also don't like Binding of Isaac. Or
Yeah,
at least didn't the first time I played it.
it's more like Binding of Isaac than anything. But that game,
I love Enter the Gungeon though, even though I'm fucking ass at it.
yeah, I fucking hate Enter the Gungeon. The game
It's
sucks.
so fun, dude. Love it.
I last time I played it, it was better because they went through and like readjusted items and stuff and made it so that like when you picked up like, oh look, I got electric bullets, it's like, shit. Guess what? Now you get bullets that can stun enemies. Like they added more. What's the fucking word?
They added more passive abilities.
No, that too. They did add more passive abilities, but it's like the passive abilities that stack and work well together. Like they synchronize well.
Yeah, there was less stuff like that before the final update, A Farewell
Yeah.
to Arms.
Or like you get a gun and it's like, oh, what does this gun do? And it's like, oh, it has bouncy bullets, and it's like, cool. Now while you have that gun in your inventory, you won't be able to get bouncy bullets as like a passive. Or this gun fires fire bullets, and it's like, cool. So we're not going to drop fire bullets while you're holding the gun, because what's the point? You already have them.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think some of them it's like, if you pick up like the thing that gives you passive fire bullets and you have a gun that does it, it'll upgrade that gun to do something extra too.
Yeah, or like
it.
The fire, it'll do like fire damage, or like, but when you use the fire gun, it will be like a big little explosion as well.
Yeah, like something like that. I
Yeah.
prefer that.
Fucking Isaac, like in 11 days has their new expansion coming out, and Kyle's big excited for it. I'm like, I can't wait. It's gonna suck.
I was thinking of buying the game on Steam just because maybe I was wrong about it or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like if you want everything, it's like fucking $50 whole if you want all the expansions.
I feel like Isaac's on Game Pass.
But wouldn't the DLC still cost extra?
No, I think you get DLC with Game Pass, don't you?
It depends on the game.
And Isaac DLC isn't really DLC. It's more just like the actual game. Yeah, it's not.
It's expansion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's dumb that they sell it to you still as a DLC. They should just sell it to you as like, here's Isaac. It's the full game.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they'll do a big sale on the rest of it or whatever when the new thing comes out.
Yeah. Actually, it's just Isaac is $16.99, and then you get Afterbirth, which is $11.99, and the other parts are free.
Afterbirth Plus and the new one? No, the new one.
The new one I think costs money, but I already paid for it, so it won't show me the price. But
hold on,
you can get Afterbirth Plus was a free update if you owned Afterbirth.
Let me take a gander.
Wait a second. These fuckers, it was free for me.
So let me just see. Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Yeah,
right,
okay.
That's the main game.
I'm seeing all these prices here, and I guess you're right. But they gave me Afterbirth Plus for free originally.
Yeah, so if you want everything, which is Rebirth, Afterbirth Plus, and the new one, it's $57.46. $39.97 if you want the main game, Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus.
Yeah.
Which is fucking too much money.
Yeah, for a roguelike. Like, you could dump a ton of time into it. Like, I have 364 hours in Isaac, but it's still too much.
Yeah. I think Afterbirth Plus is like, you can only buy it if you have Afterbirth, but I think it costs money on its own.
Well, I'm just saying it didn't for me originally. They just popped it in my inventory, my game library.
Yeah, because Afterbirth is $11.99. The base game is $16.99. The new thing I think is $17.99.
Yeah,
something like that.
Me and Chris like really disagree on how to play on like the best way to play the game. Or I think keyboard and mouse using like WASD and the arrow keys is the best.
Buy this bundle and save 0%. Buy the bundle and save 0% on it. Yeah, Afterbirth Plus is $10.99.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb. And the bundle should give you some savings, but it doesn't. 0%. Eat shit. Fucking eat shit, Nicalis.
Yeah, fuck you.
You've screwed over Pixel as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I like that when you go to Rebirth's store page, it's like the Binding of Isaac Rebirth overwhelmingly positive, and then you scroll down to like Afterbirth and it says very positive, and then Afterbirth Plus mixed.
Yeah, Afterbirth Plus is apparently Duke.
Because it adds nothing but bad items. Like I think I said that to Kyle, and he's like, "That's not true." And I'm like, "There's no fucking good items at all. It's just bad." It inflates
$10.99.
Yeah, it inflates the item pool with like garbage.
Damn.
Oh, I think it added greed mode, which is a fun mode to play, but still, it's not worth it. Yeah. So,
but do you think the new expansion requires you to own all the other ones?
Probably.
Yep. Okay. So I also I fucking played a video game called Adios.
Yeah, you a pig farmer now.
Indie game. Yeah, you heard of this.
Yeah.
Adios is a game where you play as a pig farmer who has decided to sever his ties with the mob whom he was disposing of bodies for with said pig farm. His wife has recently died. It's the year 1992, and he has decided not to. His friend, who is a hitman for that mob, is trying to convince him to change his mind on this morning, because that man, if he does go through with quitting, will have to kill the pig farmer.
Oh no.
Yep. Ultimately, this is a game where your choices absolutely do not matter. This is not that kind of game. There is one ending. There is one story. You walk around, you talk to a guy, you do little mini games, you do some stuff, and it tells you a story. This is video games as a stage play, which is an interesting choice. I think it really does work as a whole. It's definitely not a traditional game, but it is very indie. But I think at the end, the writing and the story is going to connect with you. I want to say it's good. You should absolutely check it out. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but definitely know that there's nothing you can do to change this. You do have some dialogue choices. Apparently, a lot of people were confused. There's some in the game. There's some dialogue choices that are grayed out, and if you try to select them, he just makes it. The character just goes and that's meant to illustrate the things that he wants to say but can't say, right? Which I think is really interesting, and it's a cool way to have that telling of the emotion without it being the choice, using dialogue options to show thoughts, not necessarily things he's going to say. And I thought that was really cool, but I saw online a lot of people were like, what the fuck is this? Some of these dialogue options are gray, and when I select them, it doesn't work.
You weren't allowed to do them in fucking Mass Effect. Who cares? It's just how games work sometimes.
Yeah, but it's this is there's no thing you can trigger to make them selectable. They're just things he thinks and wants to say, but can't say or won't say, right?
Yeah.
Which is really cool. And that there is a very emotional sort of phone call scene near the end of the game that super well utilizes these grayed out things, because it's all the things he wants to say to the person on the other side that he can't say.
Fuck, my goddamn back hurts. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Every day I wish I had a fucking real chair.
Is that not a real gamer chair?
No, it was a real gamer chair. Secret Labs and all that, but there's not a lot of lumbar support.
Oh.
Or there's there's a dial, but it doesn't go much farther. It doesn't pop out of the back of the seat. It kind of is just there. I need to get a pillow, but I don't want to buy a pillow. It's money.
It's a cushion, and you could probably get one for pretty cheap.
Well, I could get one, any one, but I want
you could just grab one. If you have couch cushions in your home, you could just steal one. He just grabbed a couch cushion from like 6 feet to the left of him, as if
Yeah.
he hadn't even thought of that in his entire life.
I did, but the fucking thing is, it's like it pushes my shit out a bit too much. Like I'm just got my titties out right now.
That's fine. That's how you're supposed to sit.
You ever see the picture of like the guy? It's like different types of like scoliosis, but like he's like his head's like down like this and it's up like this and his like chest thrust out, and someone like added them all together like in a movement. And he goes like. I think it was on one of those like scientific diagrams that look like shit posting pages.
Oh yeah, I love those textbook pictures that look like shit posts.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I played that game.
That's good.
It's good. It's a good game.
What would you give it out of 10?
7.5, maybe an 8.
Cool.
It's relatively short. It's priced highly because they want to pay their employees well, but you know,
Yeah.
what that means is like it's going to cost more than you'd want necessarily to pay for something that takes about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a well-made thing. It's good.
That is good.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
watched New Girl.
I watched like 2 full seasons of New Girl. I'm on season 3.
Is it good? I've heard it's good.
It is like, how do you feel about Friends?
I don't like the show Friends. It's bad.
Okay. It is not like Friends.
Good.
But it is like Friends. What? Oh my god.
That
My mom
it's about
like
a
really
bunch of
wants me
friends?
to move my car, and I don't know why.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like Friends in the sense that it is a show about a people in their like, well, I think Friends, they're like in their 20s. They're in their 30s and they live in an apartment. And at the beginning, it's like, how can they afford to live in this apartment when 2 of the guys are unemployed? Mm-hmm. Well, one guy works as a bartender at like just a normal bar. It's not like he's at a club or anything. The other guy works in like, I think an ad department, like a marketing department.
Oh, so he's making good money.
He's the only one who makes good money, and the other dude was a basketball player. It was a professional basketball player in Latvia because he couldn't make it in the States, and he was just like
Okay.
the one black guy on the team. And then he quit, and he goes back to America, and he moves in with them, but he doesn't have a job.
But he has money left over from being a professional athlete.
Yeah, but in Latvia,
Yeah.
it shows it like whenever they show it, it's like he didn't make a lot of money there. Like he lived well when he was there, but like the money doesn't translate coming back. Like you know, like you could be a millionaire in other countries, but then you fucking
Come here and it's like
come here,
nothing.
or go to L.A. in the States because that the show takes place in L.A. and they live in this giant, like, beautiful loft apartment. Like, and
I mean,
has,
that's
like,
a thing.
4 bedrooms.
Everybody complains about that shit, but the answer is you need a large apartment to shoot a sitcom in because you need to fit a crew and a
But
camera.
they show that them in like there, like, well, in Friends it was just it felt super big because they had to lay it out in a way where it's like it's not a small square room. It was like the thing. Friends is just dumb because it's like, oh, it faces outside. It's got like the big windows. But they show that the reason why is because like the building's kind of decrepit. It's not great to live there, and like the landlord is a creepy dickhead. But like the characters are more likable. They're like they don't try, like, you know how Friends, it's like, oh, they're assholes, but they're friends. It's like, but why are they friends? These guys don't ever have like a touching moment together, and feels like they just kind of like shy away from like being like, you're my friend, I love you sort of shit. But like in New Girl,
man.
that's a fuck.
That's the clip I always see. A white man.
Schmidt
No.
Schmidt is, if I had to put him in Friends terms, he is the Ross Geller of the show, but only because he has a super hot girlfriend that he's very on and off with, and he tries to sabotage all her relationships. But he's like, we know he's a piece of shit. Like, that's how he is. He's like got a bunch of like problems.
Yeah.
And like he was a kid who was like, when he was like 9, his dad walked out on him and he took it really hard. And he got like big fat, like cartoonishly fat. And then after college he went and like got really ripped because he thought his pen pal Michael Keaton told him to.
That's funny. It's also got my Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, Jake Johnson. He is his. So a lot of the time, I'm just like, oh, this is Peter B. Parker. Like, this is exactly his character from Spider-Verse, where he's just like down on his luck, sounds like an idiot. Like, have you ever seen the clip where they're arguing over the towel?
Oh yeah.
Where he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. That's my towel. And he's like, have you ever washed it? And he's like, what are you talking about? The towel washes you. Why would I wash it?
Yeah.
But it's just a show about a bunch of young like dudes trying to like figure out their life, and Zooey Deschanel is there being like her quirky, cute self that back in 2011 we were all like, oh, jeez.
Well, I heard I heard this version of her is like less the manic pixie dream girl who doesn't really have her own character and is just generically quirky, and she's like more of a real person in this.
She's more like a fun art teacher. Yeah. Like, actually, that's what she is at the start of the show. She is a teacher at an elementary school, and then she gets fired at the end of season 2 because of budget cuts and all that. And then she gets fired at like the middle of season 2, and she tries to make her get back into the game of like being a teacher. And then like season 3, she becomes a middle school teacher. But she's just a teacher who like likes kids. That's like the running joke in the first season with her job, is that like she gets mad. Like she gets mad at kids one time, and her like the principal's like, "Oh, you're just like us. You hate kids." And it's like, "Oh yeah." That's how like teachers are portrayed in America, as being like child haters. Yep. It's a fun show, but it's got that cringe comedy in it sometimes, and I hate it.
Did you like I remember really liking Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23.
I never watched that show.
Oh, it's good. It's got Eric Andre the actor in it.
Eric Andre the actor, not Eric Andre the crazy fucking person.
Yeah. And James Van Der Beek plays a version of himself. Yeah. Yeah. I remember I liked Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. But also Kristen Ritter is just like super great. So.
Yeah. Also, we got in New Girl, we have Lamorne Morris, a.k.a. the spokesman for BMO.
Damn.
You ever seen those, like, commercials? He, like, just kind of appears with a desk and gives people financial advice, and he's, like, a spokesman for the Bank of Montreal. But he's also in a new TV, like a Hulu show called Woke.
Oh, I've heard that show's good.
I've only seen one episode, and it is pretty good. It's like about a black... Well, also, this is kind of like a continuation of the kind of character he was in New Girl, where it's like, he's a black guy, but it's like that stereotypical thing of like, he's not black because he's not from the hood. He's from like the suburbs. And that's what woke is like, you're not black because you like don't have a black job. You don't like have a black life. And then he kind of gets mad at he gets stressed out and he's like, I'm going to go get my hair done. Like, get like a black barber to shave his head, and he goes into his barbershop and it's like a bunch of like white dudes with the same haircut, and he's like, where's Charlie? And he's like, oh, Charlie moved back home to Louisiana. And he's like kind of going crazy, and he like walks outside and he sees like a garbage can, and the garbage can's like talking to him, and it's like a pretty done like animation of like a CG garbage can like telling him, he's like, you know, those fools like bought him out and like stole his business because you and I damn know that Charlie's from Ohio. Not from Louisiana. And it's like, that's a funny ass joke, and it's like, it's just this dude's like struggle with being like gentrified. So Lamorne, like, New Girl had like a great cast that they kind of just were like, well, get out of here. The only one I don't know, like, hasn't really moved on post it is like Max Greenfield, who plays Schmidt. Yeah. But like Jake Johnson is Spider-Man, Lamorne Morris is a spokesman and also has like his own TV show. But then it's like, oh, what's Max Greenfield doing? It's like, oh, he's around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he like he got like that thing where you're in a sitcom and people like you as that character so much that like
He got
you
Joey'd.
don't get to do anything. Yeah, you got Joey'd, I guess.
Yeah, there was actually one problem I had with his like character arc in New Girl, and like the 10th
Oh,
episode.
he's in Promising Young Woman.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that movie has a stacked fucking cast.
Macklemore.
What?
His character's name is Joe Macklemore the third.
Oh, damn.
So I'm just thinking of the rapper. But
In
there's
Promising
a thing.
Young Woman,
Yeah.
it's like Carey Mulligan, Alison Brie, Bo Burnham, Clancy Brown, Adam Brody, fucking Jennifer Coolidge, Laverne Cox, Christopher Mintz-Plasse,
Alfred
and then
Molina.
this guy. Yeah, Max
Molly
Greenfield,
Shannon.
Alfred Molina, Chris Lowell.
So wait, also there's one problem I have with Schmidt's character arc. In like the first season, they get like his hot like model girlfriend gets in this like worry because she like misses her period and thinks she might be pregnant, and they are currently fucking, and he's like, oh no, I might. He's like kind of excited. He's like, oh shit, if I'm gonna be a dad, at least it's with you because I love you, but I haven't said that sort of shit because I'm an emotionally stunted grown man.
Yeah.
And so later on, at the very end of the episode, she goes like, I got my period. It's fine. I'm not pregnant. He's like acting like, oh, thank God. We weren't ready for that. That would destroy us. We would totally be the worst parents. And then he's like kind of shoves her into like her cab. And then it like pulls away and it looks to the sky. And there's like a skywriter that says like, please like marry me.
Oh my God.
That he was gonna like he was fine with marrying her because he's like rather be a good like he would want to be like a good dad. But then like a season later she finds out that she's like on the brink of being barren. She's like 32.
Yeah.
And Paul Scheer's wife, June Diane Raphael, who is hilarious in the show, she plays like this pregnant lesbian who like at one point Schmidt goes to talk to her about cunnilingus skills, and he like describes how he does it, and she's sitting there like straight lesbian but is like 8 months pregnant, so she's just like horny as fuck and can't have sex.
Yeah.
So she's just sitting there like looking like, oh fuck, please. Like I want someone to do that to my pussy.
That's funny.
But so she tells Cece that she will, if she doesn't, she has like until like the age of 35 to get married, and Cece has like traditionalist Indian parents. So they were she's like, fine, give me an arranged marriage, and that upset Schmidt because they had broken up at this point. But it's like this man was totally willing. If he was just like honest in the first thing, or she saw like the just married, it would have been in her mind like, oh, this dude was willing to do it, so like why not? But obviously, I don't think they thought they were going to get a second season at the time, because a lot of the stuff that happens in season one, like by the end, feels like a wrap up. And then season two starts, and it's like, oh, we need to reset the characters because now we know we're going to get a couple more seasons. So it's like we got to do some drama.
Fair enough.
And like I don't know, like if Monica and Chandler ever broke up in Friends, because I know they get together in like the second or third season, and Friends had like 9 seasons. But
I don't know. I think every show winds up having like one set of the friends has a stable relationship / marriage / whatever, and then the rest of them are all over the place.
Well, that's what they did for like season 1 and half of season 2, where like it was Schmidt and Cece who were like in a stable relationship, and then they break up because he thought he was holding her back from her in her career because he went to like one of her shoots where like it was kind of sexual, like it was very like insinuating, and he was like not comfortable about it, so he was like, oh, I'm just gonna hold her career back because I can't handle it. So he broke up with her, but he used like a shitty reason to do like say why. And then Jake Johnson and Zooey Deschanel's character get together, and they look like they're the fucking like main couple now. But I know because I was looking at like, you know, the guy who plays Como in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah.
I think his name's Franklin Nelson. He's like a bit character in this show.
Oh, cool.
And I was looking at his stuff, and I was like, you know, I went to the relationships tab, and it's like, oh, he dates Jess at one point. So I'm like, oh, so that means Jess and Nick Jake Johnson and Zoe Deschanel's character break up.
Yeah, I think I've seen some clips from the show where there's like, I don't know if this is like a bit that they do or if it's like legit, where they have like Schmidt and Jake Johnson's character are like fake dating or whatever.
I think so. I think there's an episode.
I don't know if that's a bit or if it's legit. I don't know.
I think there's an episode of the first season where like a guy comes over and just says like, act like you're gay. And they both like act like they are. Schmidt kisses Nick like constantly on the mouth, and he goes like, "Could you please stop Fredo kissing me?" Because he always does it like right before like something bad's gonna happen to him. But
okay,
like,
that's funny.
Also, I saw a really good joke on TikTok because there's a scene when Schmidt and what's his kid name? Lamorne Morris's character. I can't remember his name right now. Winston. Where Schmidt and Winston first meet when they're in like college, and Nick leaves the room, and they kind of just awkwardly like stand at each other and don't know what to say, and someone tagged it as Falcon and Winter Soldier. So that's a good joke.
And speaking of Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're not going to talk about that yet because we have something else to talk about before. Enjoy for like the next 8 weeks or however long that show's going to be, because that's the new WandaVision right now. 6 weeks, bitch.
6 weeks.
It's shorter.
Oh, the episodes are longer, so.
The episodes are longer and the show's shorter. $25 million an episode.
Damn, so what's that?
150 mil?
Damn.
Yep.
It's a lot.
So slightly less than the first Captain America movie for more time. Yeah, so let's talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League first, aka the Snyder Cut, aka the 4-hour version of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. AKA unnecessary.
I've seen both films. Or both cuts of the same film, I guess.
I have seen
on how you look at it.
I have seen one, but in the call last night, our resident DC expert Dan told us, because a lot of people don't remember the movie, and also Dan, for some fucking reason, watched it twice. He watched it by himself the day it came out, and then on Friday last night he watched it with like all 8 of us in the call, and he was like, he told us when like, oh, this was in the original cut or this wasn't, because he also watched like the original Justice League last week in preparation.
Yeah.
So he's watched these shitty movies 3 times.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go into too much detail about this because it's just, I want the podcast to be not that long. Because I want to have an easier time editing it because I have shit that I want to do tomorrow. So Zack Snyder's Justice League. If you want to watch it, you're going to watch it. I'm not going to stop you. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. You don't have to. It's not a big deal. The movie is 4 hours. And I do want to come out right away and say, I was wrong. Okay, I said that it would be a worse version of the movie. I'll give it that it's a better version of the movie. It is better than the 2-hour cut. It is a better movie, I would say, even than like Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. There are some interesting visual choices in the movie at times. Same with some weird fucking audio choices.
Lamentation music plays.
Yep. Wonder Woman theme plays too much. There's some audio cues that last for like half a second and then awkwardly stop.
Yeah.
But let me just... Justice League, a lot of the new stuff, the stuff with the Flash, the stuff with Cyborg, giving him an actual character arc, right? A lot of the new stuff works. With that being said, there's a great reason why they cut it when someone told Joss Whedon to make the movie 2 hours. And that's because none of it has anything to fucking do with the main plot of the movie. And the main plot of the movie, which is about Steppenwolf, a boring character, trying to get some rocks so he can destroy the world, and then the Justice League have to come together. Yep. That is a fucking lame story. The story is not good, and it's just as not good in this version. There is nothing that's that different about it. They still have to find the rocks. They still have to gather the people who refuse and then join eventually. They still have to bring Superman back to life, and they still have to go to Chernobyl or whatever to fight him.
Yeah.
And when they get there, Superman just wins it easily. All of that shit is the exact same. It is the same set pieces in the same fucking order. What's different about this movie is that there's less jokes and quips. There's a lot more shit that's more, there's just more of it by 2 hours.
Yeah.
Superman wears a black suit and he has less fun enjoying the fight with Steppenwolf because
his face looks
he's mad.
looks less fucked up.
Yep.
His thing with literally.
His fight with Steppenwolf, he's much more brutal and sad and mad
also
about it.
he just kind of holds him down. Like, this is my problem with how they did it. Is one, Superman and Wonder Woman are equals. It's how I always look at it.
Yeah, I think
power.
Superman's technically a bit stronger normally, but there's vast differences in this.
Wonder Woman has the magic, so
yeah.
But this is I know that I'll get to the scene that me and Dan were both like, come on.
Oh, the scene where Superman just fucking blatantly slaps Wonder Woman away, like no problem at all.
No. Well, that's also a problem. But so Superman just shows up, like they're like struggling to beat up Steppenwolf, and Superman just like walks in. He's like, "Okay, boom, 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 stay the fuck down. I am not putting any effort."
Yeah,
but like
it's actually, I would argue it's better in the original cut.
Sure, I don't know about that, but so the
because
thing
first of all, he's in his red and blues, and he just keeps punching him, and they're flying, and then like boom, 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 and it's like it's way goofier. It's almost an easier win, but it's more fun, and he's like enjoying it more, you know.
Yeah,
His
so
big smile
because he's like, I'm alive. I just fucked my girlfriend. She is pregnant.
Boom. No, she's pregnant with Batman's kid.
No.
Did you not read the plans for the trilogy?
I did, yes. So fucking the scene after they resurrect him.
Yeah, where they all have to fight him.
They all fight him. Wonder Woman, when she hit him with the lasso of truth, should just fixed him there.
Yeah, because Superman's weak to magic.
But also, it compels the mind to, like, the reason is he was fighting is because he was on natural response. He didn't know what he was doing. So him getting hit with the fucking lasso would bring his mind forward and have him be like, "Oh shit! Oh damn!"
Yeah, they also cut a joke that I liked, but I texted Davis about that he didn't like. There's a bit in that fight scene in the original cut where Superman says to Batman, "Do you bleed?" and then throws him into the cop car. And then Batman rolls on the ground and says, "Oh, something's bleeding," which I love. That's obviously a Joss Whedon joke, and I love it. I'm here for it. It's fucking funny. It made me laugh.
There was a Joss Whedon joke there was a joke that Batman does, which people thought was a Joss Whedon joke, but was not. Is when they get in the car and he's like, "What's your superpower?" He's like, "I'm rich." Yeah, I don't like that line.
That joke's not funny, so that it makes sense that.
I think it's a lot better in, like, you know, the Justice League War thing, in that one where Green Lantern's like, "Do you even have any superpowers?" and Batman just turns around and smirks at him.
That's
That's a lot better. But Batman just straight up being like, "I'm rich." It's like, all right, then you don't need to flex that hard. We see the fucking Mercedes concept car.
The Mercedes is dumb. Batman shouldn't drive a Mercedes.
He shouldn't. But it's like a concept car or something. So it's like it's them showing like he's so rich. Not only does he have like a high-end Mercedes, it's a high-end Mercedes that you can't get anywhere because it was made once.
Yeah, I don't like how both there's like two Mercedes in this movie driven by superheroes, because when I think of Mercedes, I think of somebody who's totally okay with murdering somebody.
Why?
Just like a vibe. You never seen a Mercedes and been like, the person who owns this is probably like a murderer or a sociopath.
Not really.
That's my vibe with Mercedes. I mean, he drove a Lambo in Dark Knight, regular Dark Knight, Lambo Murcielago, and
which
that's way cooler.
It's the Bat.
And Murcielago is Bat, so boom.
So,
I
think, okay, I've said this the whole time, but I really enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman. Even in like these bad movies, I think he is very good at being Bruce Wayne.
Can I be honest? I don't really care for him.
I enjoy him. I'm also upset that like Jeremy Irons is a great Alfred.
See, I don't care for Jeremy Irons as Alfred.
You're
I
no
don't care.
fun. They're so good. Jeremy
They're,
Irons
like,
is just this
fine.
old drunk.
Yeah, I was but, like.
I thought that
don't
bit
know.
was funny in Batman
think
vs
it's-
Superman, where he's like supposed to be on call, like ready to fly at any time, and he's just like relaxing in the chair, just like drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think they're fine. Like, they're not terrible. I'm just like kind of indifferent.
I just think they could have, like, with a better script, they could have been really good.
Yeah, the line that sold for me in this movie where I really liked Ben Affleck was when Alfred's like, "Are you sure he's coming? Like, how can you be so sure?" And he gets on the ship and he's like, "It's called faith, Alfred." And like that moment, I was like, "That's a Batman who's smiling," and I was like, "That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Like that felt good." But yeah, for the most part, I've been completely indifferent to Ben Affleck as Batman. Not I don't like him. I don't hate him. He's fine.
Yeah.
I really love how like some scenes in this movie
I
have
think
like
if this was a better, I just think if there was a better script, you would be more on my side of it being like, oh no, he's great.
maybe, but I mean like even with this terrible script, I like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, you know, and she's great.
She's all right.
I like her as that character a lot.
That's all right. I
Even
just
though
think
the
she's
script
fine.
is dog shit.
Yeah.
And she's given nothing to do in this movie, and that sucks. But
Yeah,
I
she
really
kind
like
of
her
just
in the
is
role.
supposed to be like the strong character that when Superman isn't around, but once Superman shows up, she's like invalidated.
Yeah, and she also kills that man by like turning him into complete dust, except his hat that one time.
Boom. Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, weird. She could have just ran at him and not destroyed an entire wall of that museum.
Also, she didn't like that man while he was like shooting across the line of people. If he just went, if like, you know, he's going this way, like if he just went
If
like
he
a
just went the
sprinkler
other
and
way.
just turned around, they'd be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray Fisher as Cyborg. He's given a lot more character arc in this, but it's still not good. It's just he's given something. But I still find that character and that storyline extremely bland.
I also
And
don't
it's
like how he looks.
it's an ugly design too.
Yeah. I don't like any of fucking Zack Snyder's like versions of these. Like Steppenwolf, I like that he's not as human.
Flash looks fine.
Flash looks fine, but I like that he's like that they made Steppenwolf not human because it's kind of lazy to just be like, oh look, they're humans. The aliens just look like humans, but gray or green or some shit. But he's literally just like his armor is so stupid.
Oh yeah, he's ugly. He's very shiny. He's a boring character.
It's
I
very
think
gray.
Darkseid looks awful in this.
Yeah.
Like he's too craggy. Oh, every Apocalypton is too like growly and strong when like they're supposed to be very smart. They're advanced past humans. You know what I mean?
They're not like fucking warriors who just go and beat the shit out of people and like that's it.
Darkseid incited a war like a Machiavellian guy. But I don't know. I prefer my my new gods as being like more human, because like you know if Darkseid looks like that,
I'm not
and
saying
Desaad
they
looks
can
like-
be more human. It's just that I think it's lazy that it's like, oh, we're outside, like you're in space, everything looks human.
Yeah, but like also if you're ever going to introduce characters like Orion, Big Barda,
Which do
Mr.
look like
Miracle,
humans. Granny
those
Goodness
characters
looks like
are
a human.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Why Steppenwolf? He's the fucking least interesting of the four people that
I
are
think
from
because
Apocalypse.
what they were trying to do was choose a character that they didn't have like a lot with and wanted to like define him and then showed like, oh, you thought they struggled with him. Look at these other new gods that they'd actually have a real trouble with. And
Yeah,
like
but I mean,
set up
just-
more
why
movies
not-
where like they were going to keep doing Justice League movies. So it's like Justice League 1, they fight Steppenwolf. Justice League 2,
Just
they
like-
would fight Granny Goodness and the other guy. And then
Desaad.
like Desaad. And then like Justice League 3, it's like, oh, Darkseid's here, kind of like how Infinity War went through Marvel.
Yeah, with Thanos.
Yeah, it's like you get
But
what
I
was the
don't know.
villain of Avengers? Loki?
Yeah, Loki.
It was like it was the escalation. Loki, then Ultron, and then Thanos again, but from 2014.
Yeah, but Loki worked for Thanos, but Ultron didn't.
Yeah.
And like Loki was an already established interesting character.
Yeah, so the problem is that the Zack Snyder blew through all the setup movies and like had too
Yeah.
much control over them. He's like he did Man of Steel, he did Batman v Superman, and then he does Justice League. But it's like
Yeah.
we
the
had
only movie that came in between was Wonder
we
Woman
had
and Suicide
two
Squad.
Iron Man movies in between. We had 2 Iron Man movies, Thor, Captain America, and technically Incredible Hulk, but hardly counts.
It does count.
I know it counts, but like it wasn't in like the same like Iron Man and Incredible Hulk came out at the same time. And it was just Marvel. Like Iron Man feels like they could try to build something bigger off of it. Where fucking
So does Hulk. Iron Man literally shows up at the end of that movie.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, and in Hulk they explicitly mention that the Hulk and Abomination stuff is like them trying to recreate the Captain America Super Soldier Serum.
All right, well, fine. Then you got me there. But like, they actually tried to do build up and stuff and work things together. Where because DC was so far behind because they couldn't, they kept having to remake movies. They just powered through. It's like, no, we're not doing a Batman origin. We're just gonna do a Superman movie where Batman shows up in it. We're gonna do a Wonder Woman movie afterwards. Actually, no, she came after Batman versus Superman. Like,
yeah. Well, she's in that movie, and then she shows up.
And we're gonna do an Aquaman movie, but once again after, and then we're going to have an idea for a Flash movie that inevitably
we were supposed to have a Flash movie by now, but they kept losing directors.
And also eat shit, Ezra Miller.
Yeah, he's
person.
like one of my favorite people in this.
I don't really like him that much.
I mean, out of the group, he's the most entertaining.
I don't know. I like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, but he's got way less personality in this version.
I just really like the part when they're flying around in the final battle and Cyborg
my man,
he's like, my man.
Yeah, that version, that when Aquaman gets to be his douchey surfer bro guy, like he is in the Whedon cut. I liked him a lot more because he's like such an asshole, but he's a fun asshole. Whereas in this, he's sometimes fun asshole and sometimes boring. Like, I don't care about his when he talks to his wife. I don't care when he talks to fucking Willem Dafoe. You know?
I don't care about the actual stuff that's going on in his home.
Although apparently that movie's fun. His movie.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it.
I think I will too.
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, it's directed by one of the directors of one of the Fast and the Furiouses.
Which one?
James Wan.
Fuck yeah, that's 7. No. Yeah, that's 7, I think.
Yeah.
And that's one of the better ones, but only because of the emotional repercussions of what they had to do at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like Jason Momoa. I like what he stands for and how he, like...
I like him.
I like that he has 6 fucking kids.
Oh my god, that's so many.
Yeah, well, he's been with, like, Lisa Bonet for, like, 12 years. But they got married in like 2017. I looked at this up last night. Zoe Kravitz is his stepdaughter.
What? That's wild, actually.
Yeah, because Lisa Bonet is Zoe Kravitz's mother. Because she was married to Lenny Kravitz for 6 years, and then she got together with Jason.
So she
Momoa.
Must be older than Jason Momoa.
She's 53. Jason Momoa is 41.
Oh wow, he's 41.
Yeah.
Holy shit! He looks like he's 30 something. Like
yeah, but so like I know we all know how old The Rock is at this point, but for the longest time, like from like in the 90s or like the early 2000s when The Rock shaved his head, I literally feel like he hasn't aged.
No, I see the age on The Rock.
That's the whole but
Jason
that's because
Momoa.
The Rock is like 57 now.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say is about the movie. I like Ezra Miller as the Flash, even though he sucks.
The Rock is 48.
I did see people talk about how like the scene with Iris is like creepy, and in my brain, because I know the characters and shit, I was like, oh, it's him meeting his wife for the first time. That's like a nice moment, and it is kind of a nice moment. Obviously, if you don't know that, super creepy, and that's absolutely the fault of the movie.
Yeah,
because it is super creepy. I think, have weird context that hasn't happened yet.
I think the scene of him like running through the glass window and like him just pointing out like the 2 fingers and that causes the window to shatter is like really cool looking. But sometimes I feel like the lightning shows up too much when he's using his powers and just kind of like overpowers I think the lightning is a cool way of showing he's in the power, like when he's actively using it. But when he's just like the scene when like they're evacuating the people from Star Labs and he like runs up past the people, and I'm like, wouldn't that like hurt someone's eyes for that to happen right in front, especially since it shows that with the force he goes through, like he passes through the wall very quickly, like the glass and shit, like he shatters it, and when he fights some enemies, he's like just a light tap, like he like boop knocks people
and they
away.
Go fucking flying.
Yeah, I think the Speed Force is very inconsistent with how it works in this movie. Like sometimes like when he saves Iris, when he does the scene where she's like falling out of the car and he like gently cups her face and like repositions her, apparently he can stop momentum sometimes, but like when he's running and he gets like shot and blown up, he doesn't like tumble right there. He tumbles for a mile.
Yeah.
Like it just feels wrong. It feels like it's inconsistent.
Did you like the parts where he goes back in time?
I thought it was okay. It's like kind of obvious it was going to happen because that's his like a thing he can do. I think
because they set it up when they did the fucking thing with Superman.
They should have done the thing with him running through, like, I feel
being able to vibrate his molecules through walls.
It's a very cool thing he can do. Like they could have even done it in like a shitty way where he's just like, I've thought about this theoretically. Yeah, he kind of does.
One of the times he slipped, he went through a fucking wall.
Yeah, sometimes
and, like, the wall was fine.
And also sometimes he's running and he's just going. I don't like that when he runs like
like a dipshit.
He runs like you're playing a fucking Bethesda game, like Skyrim and Fallout. That too. No, but I mean like there's scenes where he's just running, like he's jogging like a normal person, but the fucking world is zipping around him. And that's what running in like a
more weird. It looked more weird the other way though.
That's what running in like a Fallout game feels like. If you like up the if you go into the third person mode and you up the run speed, you kind of run and the world moves around you. That's just how all of those games feel, and that's what his running felt like.
Yeah.
So you know, I really like the Speed Force. I think it's very cool. It's probably one of my favorite DC superpowers. But like,
yeah, and it's basically invented so that he can grab people and take them with him, and they don't die.
Yeah. Like that when he touches them, they kind of like experience. They don't get like the Geo forces or whatever the fuck.
Although this
the
kind
G-force,
of
it's
implies
not Geo-force. That's the fucking that's Troy Baker's character.
Geo-force is the character.
Yeah. The G-forces of like moving through like the earth, like air super fast. He can just like touch people and move them. Like he shouldn't. Those people in Star Labs.
The scenes with his dad are also good, by the way.
Yeah, his dad who played Dr. Manhattan in the original Watchmen. Yeah, he was good. But why did he want his son to stop? You know, going to like he was in school to become that to get that job. To
get him free. He's like, yo, you should live your own life, not be tied down by me.
But it's also he wanted him to just like go out and get a real job, but he was in school to go out and try and get a real job. So like, why wouldn't you? He could have. He should have like encouraged him, like, yeah, go do it if this is what you want to do, but don't do it because you think it's gonna help me. Because honestly, it's been 25 fucking years. Like, there's no way that you can like somehow go back because like the original location is gonna be scrubbed clean. All the evidence is gonna be bullshit.
Hey Ian, do you want to know how you know Flash has a really high IQ?
How?
Because he's watching Rick and Morty.
Was he watching Rick and Morty?
Yeah, on the TV. On the TV, all the TVs. There's the scene where Rick and Summer are beating up the devil when they're all buff.
That's a very funny scene.
Yeah.
I like that part because they just go and like beat up like bullies. Yeah. They become bully hunters, but they fucking massacre people.
Yeah.
And also X gonna give it to you is playing the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so yes, the Snyder Cut. It's a better movie than the other version. It's still not a good movie, and it didn't need to be 4 hours. It doesn't need to be R-rated. Joker offers Batman a hand job at one point. Yeah. That was funny.
I thought I was like sitting there and I'm like, this scene's all right. Like, I preferred this Joker over the Suicide Squad Joker. But then when he's like, who's going to give you a reach around? I'm like, that's not funny. Yep. That's not a funny joke. Come on, Joker.
That whole bit, first of all, I'm not interested in the nightmare. I think it's boring. And that bit is. Oh, one thing I do want to mention before we go. I like how sometimes in the movie, Batman is played by Ben Affleck, the movie star, and sometimes in the movie, Batman's played by Ben Affleck, the guy who tried to smoke a cigarette through his mask.
Yeah. Ben Affleck, a dear God, my marriage fell apart.
Post-divorce, post-dating Ana de Armas, and breakup Ben Affleck.
Okay, there's one last thing we should bring up in this movie. And then we can talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Fucking Martian Manhunter.
Oh, that was so dumb. He shouldn't be there.
Does that... Okay, we said this last night, but does that imply that character has always been the Martian Manhunter?
The guy, the army guy was.
Yeah, so Manhunter...
Martha Kent wasn't.
Martha Kent is a character... I went back in time and I became your mother, Clark. She actually also died in that tornado. I just took her place.
Oh my god, that's wild.
And then when Red Tornado shows up,
that guy's always been.
So there was a big Doomsday was on like the verge of like destroying the planet. Martian Manhunter was just standing off to the side, going like, damn, I could have helped here, but I'm just gonna chill out over here.
Or like, that time when the entire world was being attacked by Steppenwolf, he didn't help at all.
Or Zod, because he was also there. He was actually more there for Zod.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in this movie, we know he exists in the world and he didn't help at all.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, I'm going to join you, Bruce Wayne. And it's like,
and Bruce Wayne's sitting there going like, okay, yeah, sure.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm kind of hungover. Me and Alfred had a rager last night.
They've called me many names.
But sometimes
one of them is the Martian Manhunter.
And it's like, we knew who you were.
He never says John Johns.
Yeah. But what a dumbass name. Like, what a dumbass name for, like, no one, for you just to get, like, say it's your name. Oh, I'm the Martian Manhunter. It's like, oh, come on.
Oh, yeah, by the way, just because I complimented the Whedon cut here doesn't mean that I endorse Joss Whedon. I think Joss Whedon sucks. He's like a weird sex pest guy who utilizes his feminist cred to abuse women. And I think that Zack Snyder is a Ayn Rand loving fucking fascist apologist. And they both suck.
Yeah.
Oh. But now that we're done talking about fascist propaganda, now we can talk about military propaganda, baby.
Whoa. All right. Full spoilers.
Full spoilers for here on out.
Yeah.
For Falcon and Winter Soldier, episode 1.
So, what a dumb fucking thing to do.
What?
To give up the shield to the U.S. government when you've already seen...
He didn't give it to the government. He gave it to the Smithsonian Museum.
That's owned by the government.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. The Smithsonian is owned by the U.S. government. I'm Googling it. I'm saying it with confidence, but I am Googling it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought Smithsonian was
is
like
a trust instrumentality of the United States, composed as a group of museums and research centers. So, wait, what's trust instrumentality?
I don't know. Isn't this Smithsonian?
It really looks like it is.
They're affiliated. They're not necessarily owned by... I think. Yeah, okay. I don't think they're necessarily owned by the US. I think they're like partly owned, maybe.
Well,
but,
like considering what they have inside of there, the US would have some protection, and there's like.
I mean, if you read the plaques on there, though, it's not like the Smithsonian exhibit on Cap is like super pro-America.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it is, but it's still like it. He handed the Captain America shield over to a place where like literally the American government could just walk in and say, "Actually, that's ours. That is ours. Give it to us."
Yeah, I guess. I think he had just more trust, I guess.
But I just don't see why he would, because like he
literally works for the Air Force.
Yeah, I know, and that's the military propaganda part. But like, as we have seen in all of these movies, military good, politician bad. And the politicians are the ones who go out and do bad things involving the military. The military is never the bad guys. Come on.
But that politician is a general of some sort in the military.
Yeah, but sometimes when the general becomes a politician, he now become bad.
Yeah. But Falcon didn't know that.
Yeah, but yeah. It's just, I feel like it was a dumb decision for him to give it to them.
I mean, it makes sense. There's all sorts of other cap shit there that they're not misusing.
Yeah.
It's more like obviously about him not wanting to accept the title, right? The legacy.
His like imposter syndrome shit.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of imposter syndrome. Like I feel like in the last month I've heard people talk about imposter syndrome constantly. I'm just like, please, shut up.
Really? No, I don't think that's true. I mean, that's like a thing everybody suffers from, and it's been something I've been talking about for years.
Yeah, but I was ignoring you, and then I heard, like, I had to listen to one podcast talk about it for like an hour, and then I was like, wow, that was boring, and about how it's hard being a YouTuber with mental health stuff, and I'm like, all right, whatever, cool, I can't relate at all. And then, like, I went and listened to another podcast, and they instantly brought it up again. And I'm like, these podcasts aren't even fucking related.
Yeah, you do realize that people who make things and do something, do creative things with their lives, often suffer from imposter syndrome.
Zack Snyder needs a bit of it.
Sure.
I'm so... Whatever. Let's talk about the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. It's so... Falcon gives up the shield that he got at the end of Endgame because he doesn't feel like he's worthy and he doesn't feel like he should be that symbol. But he's been taking up work with the Air Force, doing shit that's like questionably legal. But pretty sure they mention a lot how questionably legal that is.
So it's cool.
But he gets to fight Batroc the Leaper, baby.
Yeah, who is definitely not dead, but pretty much should be dead.
He's not. No, he's not. He jumped out of the helicopter before it exploded.
But that's like some Fast and the Furious logic. That fucking like explosion was so close, you would still die.
I mean, it's similar to other shit other characters have survived.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he fights Batroc. It's a sick sequence. It's truly rad.
It's all right.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is kind of just going on for too long. I don't really like flying stuff because every single time I look at it, I'm like, this is not possible. This is wrong. This is not how airplanes or helicopters work. But, like, you know, the man with the metal arm punching through a car, I'm fine with that. But, like, when they're in the air, I'm like, I
don't know. It's cool. It's fun. It's especially for fucking television, baby. Come on, this is like
it's hardly television.
Yeah,
it's just a long movie.
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah. So well, whatever. It was cool. It was cool enough that I enjoyed watching it. I wasn't sitting there the whole time going like, actually, the only part I was like really like, I don't want to work like that is when they're in like the fucking like squirrel suits and they just start and like multiple times they just dive into the helicopter and like go to a full stop. It just wouldn't work like that. You would like drive in, like fly into it and snap your neck. Also, I don't think those things would keep you afloat with an extra human weight behind them, but it's a fake universe.
Yep.
It's cool. It was a cool scene. That fucking little drone is so advanced. Red Wing is too advanced for this world.
It's a Tony Stark tech.
Yeah, that he can fix himself because all these dudes are just
smart.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, I feel like that would be a thing you'd learn if you had that. You had to be on the run with it, and Tony Stark couldn't help you because you are on the opposite side of it.
Yeah, you betrayed him. Did you check the time code when he said you have 90 seconds?
No, but I was like, yeah, that's about 90.
It was actually exactly 90 seconds to like the scene ends with him landing, and that it was like he says 90 seconds at 8 minutes and 30 seconds in, and then with him the shot of him landing with the captain guy,
It's like 10 minutes in.
It's exactly 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, that's good. At least they didn't fucking be like, oh, you have 90 seconds and like 5 minutes goes by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's JoJo's that does that.
Oh, it's Dragon Ball Z as well. This planet will be destroyed in 5 minutes and then like 3 hours pass.
2 hours of
Yeah.
episodes. Yeah. So that's a cool sequence. We meet a character named Torres, who is a military man who's like, I'm investigating terrorists. I'm a Hispanic man. I'm an important character because I become the second Falcon in the comics after Falcon becomes the first second, third Captain America, fifth Captain America, whichever Captain America Falcon is.
Okay. It's interesting.
So that guy's the second Falcon in the comics.
So he's like he's like Falcon's war machine.
Yes, because he gets but he's not the same. What happens is a guy named the Power Broker mixes his DNA with a Falcon, a literal Falcon.
Oh, so he gets
like
actual wings.
He's like fucked up, yeah.
Okay.
He's like all gross and fucked up looking.
So do you think they're just gonna be like at one point where like Sam can't be in the suit, or they have to like run a diversion, so they put him in the suit?
Yeah, maybe, or something like that.
And then, but Sam be's like, you know what? I am gonna be Captain America, and stays grounded while fucking.
No, Sam Wilson, Captain America, still uses his Falcon wings stuff. He's just also got the shield.
Okay. And he already kind of has a shield thing going on in this, but that's also because he was with Cap for a long time.
Yep. But yeah, this guy's important. But he tells us the names of our villains: the Flag Smashers, a terror group named after a villain in the comics who was just one dude.
It was it was kind of a dumb name, and I recognized that Sam Wilson was like, bad name.
But the Flag Smashers say that during the blip, when the entire world was united in grief and there was no wars and conflict, that it was better, and they want to eliminate all borders, a thing that is actually pretty not bad of a thing to want. It's a pretty good thing to want, personally. I don't know.
It's all right.
I mean, like,
it's a nice idea.
Totally reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a totally reasonable thing to fight for. It's not a bad thing. Probably they're the good guys compared to the Air Force.
You can have a good idea and go wrong about it, like.
The only other thing they did was rob a bank, and they didn't kill anybody.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Unlike our heroes who murdered a bunch of people.
Murdered 80 people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the fucking Flag Smashers beat up 2 guys and stole some money from a Swiss bank, which likely is money from a criminal, because Swiss banks.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. He says the Flag Smashers are bad, but obviously their motives are good, and they are less evil than the U.S. government in real life.
Sure.
So moving on, we get to see
the boy.
That it was Sam hands off the shield, and we see Rhodey, which is cool.
Yeah, they had enough money for Don Cheadle.
Yep. Which is cool. I liked seeing him. It made me smile. I was like, I didn't know he'd be here.
Yeah, I can't believe that Algae Rhythm showed up.
Yeah. But then cutting over to our other main character, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, the second part of the show. And he's an emotionally destroyed man.
He's having fucking PTSD flashbacks to murders he did. And he's in therapy because it's a requirement of his pardon from the Civil War shit that he did.
His therapist is kind of a bitch.
She's great.
She's great. Like, she was like, I'm not fucking taking any of this nonsense that you're giving me. And he's just like, please take my nonsense. And she's like, fuck you, asshole. Here's the notebook. And he's like, this bitch.
Yeah, so he reveals that he stopped a senator who he empowered when he was doing Hydra shit.
Yeah.
And she's still doing abusive shit. And so he gets her caught. There are 3 rules that the therapist gave him. Don't commit any crimes, don't hurt anybody, and make sure to mention that you're Bucky Barnes, you're not the Winter Soldier, and that this is part of your atonement.
Yeah.
He breaks the first 2 rules, but he doesn't break the third one, baby.
I don't actually. Is it illegal?
Is it illegal to wiretap a car?
It is illegal to wiretap a car. Also, take control of it. Puts on.
That's technically carjacking.
Yeah,
arguably.
and
then he punched that guy in the face.
he like knocked that dude out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hi, I'm Bucky Barnes, formerly the Winter Soldier. You're
Do you
part
remember
of my
me?
you're a part of my atonement. Goodbye."
Yep.
And then a bunch of cops show up.
Yeah. So that's a fun sequence. And then we see him meeting up with an old Japanese man for some reason.
For some reason.
Taking him out to a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that, the man he killed in the flashback is this man's son.
Yeah.
And that's why he's spending time with him. The man sets him up on a date with a woman.
With a hot Asian lady.
Yep.
And they go and play Battleship.
Yep, a Battleship drinking game. She asks him how old he is. He says 106.
And she's like, haha, funny. Anyways, what about your family? And then they talk about family too much.
He's like, yeah, he gets all the big flashbacks, and he almost goes to tell the old man, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
He ends up not. That's his entire storyline, but it's just because I don't remember the order the scenes happen in.
It was the first scene that happens is it's a flashback it's the flashback sequence of him killing all the people, and then it cuts to the future where he's like in therapy, and then it goes to the garbage cans where he talks to Yori, and then he takes Yori out on dinner, and then he goes on the date.
But I'm saying in between there are some Falcon scenes. I just decided to the Winter Soldier scenes because I forget where the intercuts are.
Yeah, well, pretty much between scene changes, like location changes. Yeah. So Sam is back home arguing with his sister because she wants to sell the family property that they got from their dad and mom because they were a fishing family.
Yep, they're a fishing family, and they are fucking broke.
And the bank is evil. That's
a great thing. The real villain of this show
is money.
They go to the bank.
The root of all evil.
And we reveal the most important piece of information we've ever had. And if you're still a Tony Stark stan, you shouldn't be anymore. Tony Stark used the Avengers as unpaid labor. That's right.
I think that was ridiculous that it's like, the Avengers kind of like were there. Like they didn't actually get a paycheck from Tony.
In the comics in the 80s, they confirmed that they get paid $2,000 a week by Tony, which is like $100,000 a year, which is good money. That's real good money.
Yeah.
That's not like they're not millionaires at that point, but they're like
because
making
also
pretty dang good money.
They live in like the Avengers compound for like free, and it's like when Tony describes it in Civil War, it seems like a very nice place to live. It's just when you're confined there, it's like a little fucked up.
In the comics, they live in either the Avengers Mansion or the Avengers Tower.
So you either live in like a tower,
but you don't have to live there,
or you have a bunch of roommates in like a mansion that probably has like a pool and a tennis court.
Here's the thing, Ian. Would you want to live in the same house as Wolverine? You know he probably smells awful.
I would just be a farther room. Just don't live close to his room. That's all.
I don't know, man.
He doesn't smell awful. He's got that musk.
Yeah, that Elon Musk.
Ew.
Gross.
Yeah. Elon Musk also shows up all the time at the mansion.
I feel like if you live in the... I feel like if you live in the Avengers Mansion or the Avengers Tower or whichever, any compound with the Avengers, first of all, I think there's going to be a lot of fucking happening, which is going to be kind of awkward. And two, I think there's going to be a lot of public arguments happen.
Yeah.
At any given time. So
I think in the mansion more so, but in the tower it would probably be like you'd probably have a lot more of your own space. The tower I think would be an apartment situation where the mansion's more like a compound. So like there's a shared kitchen and like some shared bathrooms, but like an apartment it's like this is my kitchen, this is my bathroom, this is my living room with a bedroom. Like they're probably a bunch of one bedroom apartments. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like going like the gym or the lab is probably an actual shared environment.
Also, fucking every time you order food to the Avengers Mansion, Tony makes you all split the bill, even though he's rich.
Yeah. He's like LeBron James and fucking Trainwreck, just trying to keep you humble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's broke. Bucky somehow isn't. He can pay for dinner.
I mean, he's got some money.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, I feel like he would be like, "Hey, where'd you get this money? Oh, it's Nazi money."
Yeah, I don't know.
Because like it's illegal to own like Nazi gold.
I bet you he like makes money by stealing.
Yeah, I'm sure he's just like had like he has like caches.
No, he's probably got some back pay from when he was in the army. Like Cap did.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Because he went unpaid.
Yeah,
He was missing in action, and went unpaid for decades.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's
So
probably actually loaded.
yeah. Do you think when he like talks to people, like, because the guy doesn't know, like the Yori doesn't know who he is, the girl at the like that he went on a date with doesn't know who he is. Like, do you think?
Yeah, he's not a public figure.
But do you think he's when he like introduced himself? Do you think he says Bucky, or do you think he says my name is James?
I think Bucky. I think he's used to Bucky. Most people call him Bucky.
I just feel like he wouldn't want like like they've seen pictures of him. They know that the Winter Soldier is still alive. Like they might not want to say like, "Oh, my name's Bucky," because they would be too close. So like someone might.
He's got short hair.
He had short hair in the fucking picture next to Cap. He didn't have long hair in the original movies.
I don't know. I feel like he's just like inherently less recognizable. He doesn't want the public, spotlight.
I like his thing about how he was like, I miss being in Wakanda because I was at peace, and the shrink is just like, fuck you, you're a liar.
It's like the 2 years of peace.
And she's like, you're a soldier, you don't like peace. And it's like, maybe he did. Maybe he did enjoy that.
He's the soldier without an army. He's the Winter Soldier, Ian. It literally means like somebody who's going to fight for their country, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard.
Yeah, sure, but he could still enjoy like a respite, but like
it's that's the whole thing with Cap that they use. Though they were like, he's a fucking soldier without an army or without a war anymore.
Yeah,
and that's why he wants to keep fighting.
He just wants to be useful because he was made to be useful and protect the weak. But like Bucky was made to be a criminal and doesn't want to be a criminal, so maybe he would enjoy the time off, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think this therapist at the same time is like good at calling him on his bullshit but is also kind of a bitch.
But all the things she says are going to be true.
Yeah, sure, but because why else would she say them? That's called foreshadowing.
Yeah. And we know she comes back because she does the couples therapy bit in the trailer. Yeah. So Falcon goes to the bank, doesn't get anything because apparently Tony Stark didn't pay the Avengers, and then he was like living off of basically just charity when he was quit the Avengers. And then he was dead for 5 years, and the bank's like, you don't have any employment history for 5 years.
That is the most frustrating fucking thing I've ever heard in the film, like in any of these films. It's like, God, I hate banks.
It's how realistic it is.
Yeah,
like, it's
they're pretty much saying like, oh, where you fucking snapped, your money's gone. We can't give you any money back, and you can't get any homes because you were gone.
Yeah.
Like, I would honestly say the only reason why Peter Parker got his place back is because of his connections with, like, Tony Stark.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Happy, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, Happy probably went through and got a bunch of money for them and shit, and, like, used the Stark Foundation to, like, get people who were blipped their homes back, but not, like, give them money they lost. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we've got they can't get the loan. He tries to go back and fix the boat himself.
Yeah,
and he cannot.
And he gets called in, and the U.S. government is at it again.
Yeah, so he gets a call from Torres, who's like, "Hey, I saw the Flag Smashers' big flash mob where they robbed a bank,
and there was a man with superpowers."
Guy with superpowers. He kicked my ass, and he kicked one other guy's ass.
Yeah.
Neither of whom are dead, and there was no guns at the thing, and they got away with what is probably money and or stuff.
Yeah.
Again, can't really say this is that bad of a crime. Nobody died.
Yeah, it's a robbery, whatever.
Yeah, it's a bank robbery.
Yeah.
And, like, a pretty bloodless one.
Like, it's against the law, but we'll see what they actually have to do to make them be bad. But, you know, Disney money, it's like, they can't touch the banks. That's where we keep all our stuff. Murder,
and the Air
that's
Force,
not a big deal.
The Air Force in this was leading operations in a foreign nation, which is against United Nations sanctions.
And they had to be subtle and can't fly into Libya.
So the Air Force did big crime, and the government did big like ethical crime by taking that shield away from where it was supposed to be placed for remembrance.
Yeah. And gave it to a man who's probably associated with the Flag Smasher, because that's just how it has to be. No, I swear it will be. It's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be, bitch.
No, he's a super patriot. He's like, his whole bit, John Walker's whole bit, is that he's like the worst parts of patriotism, the same way like Cap is the best parts.
He's gonna be like cool with the Flag Smashers for some reason, because he'll be like, when there's no borders, it's because the U.S. will manifest destiny the entire Earth.
I think Flag Smasher. I think John Walker is going to be an early villain, and I think the Flag Smashers and Nemo are going to be later.
He has the shield in like a later scene, so I think they're going to go fuck it. Like, I think both Bucky and Sam like
are going to
separately,
fuck up.
They're going to like both show up to fuck this dude up, because Bucky was probably going to be like, if he doesn't want the fucking shield, I'll take the fucking shield, and Sam's going to be like, I didn't give the shield for someone else to have it.
Yeah, our boyfriend's dead. Our dead boyfriend's shield.
Well,
fucking is with you.
He's not dead. He's just kind of he's dead to the world, but he's just an old man now who's hanging out to the side.
Fine, our old man boyfriend.
Yeah,
both of us are dating this old man, and you've taken his shield.
I saw some fucking article today when I opened up Google Chrome. And it was like, the Falcon and Winter Soldier first episode makes us questions Bucky's sexuality. And after watching the episode, I'm like, how? Because he left a date with a beautiful woman, or because when he like meets Unique, he's like, hey, how's it going? There's like nothing like about him that makes me go, oh, he's gay.
Like, he could be, and that's fine.
There's nothing wrong with it, but all I'm saying is it doesn't fit, like, I didn't see anything in there to be like, oh yeah, that's what they're coming from. And it's like, you guys are just.
If you want to talk about gay stuff in Captain America, in the comics they're introducing a Captain America who is like a guy inspired by Cap, who like is a gay dude who like rides the rails and helps homeless gay people like get on trains and shit.
Do you think they're gonna? What do you think they're gonna call this dude? Like, do you think they're gonna call him U.S. Agent, or just say he's Captain America?
I think they're gonna say he's Captain America, and then at one point they're gonna say that he's like, John Walker is a U.S. agent.
Yeah,
you know, like he's an agent of the U.S. type vibe, like at some point.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna have him put on like the black outfit that he has in the comics. I think they're gonna actually get rid of this dude pretty quick.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be gone by the halfway point of the series. He's gonna stop mattering.
Yeah, he feels like the midway boss.
Like, because we haven't seen Zemo yet,
but we know it's him.
We know he's here.
Do you think he's the guy? Oh, wait, no. We already saw the dude with the superpowers. So
I feel like the Power Broker is going to show up, and he's the reason why these guys have superpowers. And maybe that's the connective tissue between the Flag Smashers and U.S. Agent, which is like
Power Broker is a guy who like worked for the U.S. government or something.
Yeah, America hired this independent guy who, like, for money will give people powers, and so did the Flag Smashers. I think that's maybe where it's going to show up. Yeah. I don't know. I like the show. It's cool. I like the dramatic elements.
Do you think they'll do some lame shit where the Power Broker like gets his hands on Sam, or like they get something that's like, oh, they're going to make Sam have Captain America superpowers?
I don't know.
Because I hope they don't.
I think if he gets a hold of any character, it might be Torres to make him the Falcon.
Maybe.
Type thing, like he did in the comics.
I think keeping Sam as a normal man who uses technology is a lot cooler than him,
Yeah, I think that works.
Than them being like, oh,
especially because Winter Soldier. I think especially because Winter Soldier is like a thing. I think. Do you know what? Here's my prediction.
Hey,
so I know that,
apparently in one version of the like at some point in the comics, because you said maybe, but for sure, U.S. Agent got his powers from the Power Broker.
He did, yeah, in the comics.
Yeah.
And so did Torres, and that's why I think they might do that here. Because if you see the credits, like the graffiti stuff, there's or posters that are ripped. One of the posters says like Power Broker on it. Or like I think it says like Power Broker is watching or some shit like that. Or maybe Zemo's the Power Broker.
Maybe he figured something out. Maybe he'll do the fucking syndrome thing from Incredibles. When everyone's super, no one will be.
Yeah.
But then that would facilitate a need for superheroes, because that's the logic in My Hero Academia, where it's like just because you have powers doesn't mean you'll be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I bet you that. Yeah, I think we're gonna see Power Broker. Do you want it? Do you have any like things to pull out of your ass to be like the Mephisto of this?
I think Power Broker is the one to pull out of your ass, to be honest.
No, because there's already like a poster with his name on it.
And also U.S. Agent's there, and I just read that he is associated.
Both U.S. Agent and Torres in the comics get their power from the Power Brokers. So like,
I really don't know, because like a lot of, like maybe bringing back like who's the fucking guy that he fights in Cap 2? Oh no, he was with them in Cap 2, and they fight him at the beginning of Civil War.
Oh, Crossbones? He's dead.
Yeah, but like that. What if somehow he's not? But that would make no sense, because I just remembered that he detonated himself.
Yeah, and Wanda killed him, and that's how all those fucking
well, he was going to kill himself. Wanda just replaced him to not kill Cap and the other people, and accidentally killed a bunch of Wakandans.
Yep.
Well, we know Black Widow's sister is going to show up. She's in one of the trailers.
No, that's Agent 13. That's not Florence Pugh. That's Agent 13. That's not Florence Pugh? Nope.
Oh.
It's Agent 13. Peggy's
Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter, thank you.
Has she ever had superpowers?
No.
Wasn't she like a character for the movies?
Nope.
Oh. Who knows? Let's see. Well, I think this one's going to be a lot more straightforward and not be like, ooh, what's going to go on here?
Do you think we'll see Old Man Chris Evans at any point in the 6 eps?
I think maybe in like one point where Sam is like about to come to the realization, like he's going to be fine with taking over the mantle, and he goes to talk to Cap once about how, because like Captain America was created to be Captain America and then was sidelined, and then he had to like go prove himself. Mm-hmm. So maybe he'll go up and talk to him. It's like, what did you feel? How did you do all that? How did you just feel like this was actually your responsibility?
I've heard rumors of Isaiah Bradley being in this, which is the original Captain America who was a black guy. Like he was the first one.
Wasn't he just a man as well?
Yeah, he was like but he's off the books. Like he was like scrubbed from the record.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll have him show up. But yeah, I think we'll see Old Man Steve maybe. Yeah. Potentially.
Do you think Sharon Carter knows about like that her great uncle, she like made out with him at one point?
I think she knows. She has to have known he dated Peggy. That has to have been a story she told.
Oh no, I think she does know that, but I'm saying that, so you know how like Peggy gets remarried and they've kind of just been like, actually she got remarried to Cap?
No, I don't believe that. That's too fucked up and gross.
Come on. Let's get fucked up and gross.
I believe alternate universe.
You believe alternate universe?
Because I don't believe that Captain America, before he got old, when he goes back to the 40s, and he knows that like JFK is going to be assassinated, and he knows that 9/11 is going to happen, that he's not going to do anything about it.
I think honestly he would look at it, if say it's not a thing is that he would look at everything that would happen and say, if I change, he would recognize is that if he actively changes how the future would go, then it could end up worse. Like if he does this, then they will not beat Thanos. So he's just like, I know we win in this version of the future, so I'm just not going to do anything.
But they did beat Thanos. They beat the Thanos from that world already in 2014.
I hate the time.
Thanos
I hate
dies.
how they did time in this one. It's so dumb.
I'm saying it's an alt-U where the stones are from, where the world's already been changed because like Loki's free and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe them going through time just put them in an alternate universe. Who cares? It's so dumb. Let's not even bring multiple universes into this.
I just don't want the fucking canon to be that like, yeah, old man Cap is plowing his wife while fucking 9/11 happens and he knew about it.
Yeah,
He
he had to
stop it.
distract her or something.
Like that just feels weird to me. I don't like it.
I'm sure, or he like in his brain, he's like, I gotta fucking act like I don't know. The whole like maybe he does like, oh, I went into the ice and I just woke up now, and then like because by the time he actually woke up in like 2012 or 11,
yeah,
his wife
20,
Sharon like Peggy Carter was hospitalized and like brain rotting, Alzheimer's. That's what the word is.
Yep.
Yeah, dementia. So she's just like going through that. So like he doesn't have to like point like be like, oh, yeah, sorry, me, your husband knew this whole time, and now I have to leave you in this hospital and not visit you because. Yeah.
Feel like that would be wrong.
There is a bunch wrong here.
Yeah. So I want to believe alternate universe. So anyway, this has gone on long enough. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to see more of me and us, go to youtube.com/N8SComedy, where I post every episode of the show along with some video essay content occasionally and stream uploads from when I stream. I stream at twitch.tv/themediahole. You can also follow me at The Media Hole on Twitter, at The Media Hole on TikTok, and at www.whenyourballs.get-stuck-to-your-leg.tumblr.com.
Cool. Change your name.
If you want to follow Ian, he's at StrugglesV on everything. He recently came under fire for saying that Ben Affleck's Batman and Jared Leto's Joker together are the best Joker-Batman pairing that we've ever seen.
Yeah, sure.
All right. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.